sound when the work week's done and the weekend rolls round. Everybody knows where I can be found. I'll be fishing all night and day, strapping from the shore, fluking in the bay.
Hey guys, thank you once again for tuning in to Fish Long Island. Today will be another how-to video. We are still in the middle of the winter here, frigid temperatures, ice, and nobody's really getting out there doing any fishing. So with that being said, perfect time to do a how-to video. Today's video, we are going to make a tandem fluke rig. This rig is basically one piece of line with two hooks on it, and it's primarily used for large baits such as filleted strips, fluke belly, sand shark strips, mackerel strips, bunker strips, any large bait, also your whole squids, if you want to use that, and your Peruvian spearings, your smelts, all these larger baits. This rig is used for targeting larger fish, as you're going to be having a much larger presentation with much larger baits. So with that being said, let's get to it. Let's tie this rig. Hopefully everything comes out clear. I'm going to try to use red line and red hooks, so hopefully you can see it better on camera. Let's get to it. Let's get this rig tied. All right, so here we go. We're going to start off with our hooks. For this rig, I like to use 5/0s, 6/0s. These are the Gamakatsu. These are octopus style hooks. I'm using these in a red today just for demonstration to show you. You could use red hooks. It's not a problem at all. People say that the red disappears once you get below, I believe it was 30 feet. The color, whatever, washes out the red and you really can't see it. That's what they say. I don't know how true that is. But we're going to use these red hooks basically just for demonstration purposes so you can see. And we have some red monofilament line we'll use. So let's get our pack open. Again, these are 5/0 octopus style Gamakatsu hooks. All right, there's one. And there is two. So those are our two hooks that we're going to use. If you want to see the number on it, I'm not sure if you can see that. That's the style number on those hooks. All right. So to start this rig, I have a 4-foot section of monofilament line. This is 50-pound test. You don't need to go this heavy. 40 would be fine. You're going to insert the line through the eye of the hook, like so. Okay. Once that's done, you give yourself a little extra line, and you're going to spin it under the hook, basically like this. Like that. If you can see that, if you need some more room, you could always pull. Give yourself a little bit more working area. So that's basically what it's going to look like to start. Now you're going to take the part that's closest to your thumb, this piece of line right here, and you're going to start doing wraps. And when you do the wraps, you actually got to do a little maneuver, basically we'll call it. So you go around the shank, and I come down. And if you see now, I'm going to twist it. I'm going to twist the line, and then come back around again. And you do that 7 times. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now you have the 7 wraps around the shank of the hook. It's important that you hold this so it doesn't slip, and that's what it's going to look like. Now what you want to do is you pinch the whole knot with your other hand. So it's like that. Normally you would moisten this, which I'll do. Just a little saliva is really all you need. And you take the main line and you start pulling down. Keeping tension on that knot so it doesn't come undone. And you can see it sliding, boom. Right now that knot's starting to snug up underneath this thumb. You can get a plier. Oops, sorry about that. And you can just take the tag in and pull a little bit. So that knot is not fully tight, but I could use it right now a little bit looser to slide it. So now I have it up to the eye. Now what you do is you're going to snug down everything. So grab that, don't get yourself hooked, and basically just tighten up on that. Okay. A lot of times you could take the hook and just slide up even a little more, as you saw what I just did. Now it's slid right up to the hook eyelet. All right, so you can see that right there. That's basically what it's going to look like. Now, what you would do is cut that tag end off. You don't need that. I'm just going to pop that off. Okay. So that's what your bottom hook is going to look like. Okay. And this is the hook that's going to go into the squid's head, to the tail section of the fillet that you're using. Okay. Next part of this rig is you want to measure where you're going to put your second hook. So for this, let's just say we're using whole squids. Okay. Let's use this as an example. This will be our whole squid. All right. So we want, sorry about that. We want the hook basically to come through the eyes. We want one hook right there. That's basically we want to measure it. And the other one somewhere, around over here. So that's approximately about 4 inches, I would say that would be. So you could take that. Let's get this out of the way. Take your second hook and line it up to your leader where you figured out where you wanted that to be. All right. So I'm going to go a little bit extra on this. I say right about there looks good to me. Okay, so that's what the completed rig should look like. Well, now what I do is I flip this over. Okay. It's a totally opposite knot that we're going to do. Completely different from the first one I just showed you. Come across with your tag end, wrap it over. Okay, so let me just get that on it. All right, so now you have your 2 lines there. Okay, both of these are on the opposite side of the hook. So you can see it's starting to form over there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line, the line that's facing away from the shank, going that way, and I'm going to start wrapping down. Sometimes it's a little hard to get it started, but we'll just get it over that. I just got caught up in this one. So come around the eye of the hook, and you start working your way down. Okay, and you come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So those are my 7 loops. Again, hold that knot. You have all this extra line now. Now you can see there's a lot more line that has to go up through that knot. So again, wet it a little. A little saliva always works. And you can start pulling. Always hold that knot too. It's very important to hold that knot so it doesn't slide out. And you start sliding up the line. And you can feel it when it's wet. It slides a lot easier. Okay, and just coming right up. Sorry if I keep coming off the camera. Okay, and slide, slide, slide. Now, basically it's getting right up to that knot. You take this tag in, you can pull on that, and you can slide this all the way up. So what you want to do now is be careful, grab this end and the main line and snug everything down, okay? And that will cinch everything tight on that hook. All right, so now that's all said and done. Your knots are locked in. You want to basically put everything in order where you want it. So I'm going to twist this a little bit so that piece comes under the shank of the hook. So if you could see that, that's the other piece of the line that goes to the hook. All right. So now that's under that shank. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to take your main line and run it through the eye. Actually, on this, I'm going to have to twist that again. I apologize. I have to get that back in this way so I can get that through the eye first. Sorry about that. I forgot to do that step. So as you can see, I pulled that down. You're going to take this monofilament and you go through the eye of the hook. Hold on one second. Just like that. And just slide it all the way up. And that's that. Now you want to put that all up and tighten up everything. Okay. So now that's what it's going to look like. So your main line goes through the eye of your hook. You have your 7 turns for your snell knot. Line comes down, and there's your second hook. So basically, it's going to look something like that, if you could see that. Okay. You hook for the tail section of the bait or the head of the squid, and a hook for the top part. Okay, now if you just want to leave it like this with no jewelry, you can leave it totally like that. And basically, here's your squid. And you can pop your top hook in. Again, like I always say, you just pop it through once. You don't have to go crazy. Right through the tip. Okay, so you put your first hook through there like that. And then you can bury your first hook in. So this one we could have went a little longer. As you can see, this would just go basically through the body of the squid. Let's just say like that. Okay. Now, as you can see, everything's straight. It's got the 2 hooks going through it. Okay. You don't want it to be bunched up like this because then it just won't swim right. So if I was to take this hook and put it through the head where I would like it to be most of the times, it's not enough line in here so it would bunch up. So I could have went a little bit longer than this. This just happens to be a very large squid that I'm using for examples. All right. I mean, demonstration purposes. So that's basically how it would look. Okay, and you can see that squid still remains streamlined, and that's how it would be flowing on the bottom. Okay. Again, you would do the same thing if you wanted to use a strip bait. It's basically the same concept. Again, you can see I just put it right through the tip. You don't need to go any further than that. You don't want to go too deep because then this will start spinning when it's drifting into the current. Let's pop that hook out without getting myself hooked. These Gamakatsu hooks are unforgiving, very sharp. All right, now we want to dress it up a little, okay? We decided we want to add a little jewelry to it. So what we could do is we could go with a Mylar. You could put like a Mylar teaser on there. If you want, we could also go with a bead. Let's see what kind of stuff we have here. Hold on one second. All right. So I got these 2 beads. These are glow beads. So what I'm going to do is, for me, I want to add it and make the Mylar come up a little higher. I could throw 1 bead on there. Give it a little jewelry. Slide that down. Let's go with a 2nd bead. Go with 2 beads. Why not? All right. Basically slide that down. So now you have your 2 beads on there. If you could see that. All right. Now, whatever you want to choose. For this one, we're going to go to Mylar skirt. Flip your Mylar skirt upside down. Pop it through the eyelet. And run it down. Run this all the way down. Now, once you get to your beads, you might want to just have to move that material a little bit to get it to settle in. And there we go. All right. So now we fancied up this rig a little bit for you. Okay. So you have the main line, your Mylar teaser covering 2 glow beads. Okay, still keeping both the hooks very much exposed. And there's your rig. And there's your 2nd hook. Now, again, you could pop your top bait, your top hook onto the tip of a bait if you wanted. Okay, and then from there, you could drop the 2nd hook into that. You could also sometimes leave the 2nd hook just hanging, and the fluke will still get hooked on that. It doesn't always have to go through the meat. Just like that is fine, just hanging it. It's down. If he comes and grabs it, he's got that 2nd hook to get the longer baits. But a tail bait, fluke belly, sea robin, 1 hook right through the tip of the meat, and pop the 2nd hook. And again, this is a little bit shorter. You could go a little bit longer. You can make it whatever you desire or wherever you want a measurement to on the baits that you're using for that particular day. All right. If you want to add little spoons on there, you could. You could also add those little spin glow things I like. Some people use them. That's more like on the store-bought rigs. I really don't use them. You could put the pink skirts. These little plastic ones work really well. You could pop those on rigs. Any type of jewelry that you want, you could add basically. Sometimes just go plain and naked. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But that's basically it on this rig. And as you can see, once again, just to go over it, these were 5.0 Gamakatsu octopus style hooks. Normally they'd be black. I did them in red just so you could see for the video. Okay, so the first snell will go to the bottom hook. Is the first one you would snell. Then from there you would come up. You would put your 2nd hook after measuring it. Pop that where you want it, and do that that hook. And then from there, when you're done, you tighten up everything. You run that line through that eye, and basically your rig is done. And that's simple and easy 2-hook big bait fluke rig. And that is it. And to attach this, actually, I know a lot of people will ask, you could put this on a 3-way, okay, and then have your 3-way up with the hook attached to it, then another piece of monofilament coming down for your sinker. You can go straight with a swivel on here and put it through a dropper loop in your line, and then have that, and then have a portion of the mono coming down from your main leader, and that would be your sinker would go. You could do that. I could show you how to do that as well, too. You know what? Let me do that just so you guys can see that. All right, so coming back to as we were talking about rigging this rig. So here's the most common. This is your 3-way. All right, as you can see, I already put a piece of mono on the bottom portion of this rig for my sinker. So I went up about 8 inches and I put a nice loop. Now you could use any loop knot you want, whether it be the surgeon's loop, the perfection loop, whichever you want. This happens to be a perfection, I believe. And that's where your sinker is going to go. So that leaves you with that. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the hook on the right one. You don't want to have the hook on this one because then that's a little weird. So you can see the way this rig is set. So that's basically, these two are kind of like straight up and down, and the hook's going to go on this one and come out. So your sinker's on here. Your main line is going to tie to the top one. And now we'll take our rig, like so, and we're going to put it to that one. So it's almost like a T the rig looks when you hold it. So let's just get this real fast. I'm going to pop it through. You can do any knot you like. And we'll just do a quick little clinch knot on there, just for demonstration to show you. Not even going to do all the loops needed. Okay, that's just a simple clinch knot. Pop it through. Grab it. Moisten the knot. Get it nice and wet. And just slide it right down. Okay. So now you can see that's there. Just tighten it up. Always, when you do your knots, always grab your tag ends. Give them a little snug to tighten up on them. And get rid of that tag end. So that's basically how this rig would look now. Okay. This is going to go to your main line. To your fishing rod. 8 inches down, you have your sinker, which will go right there. So that will be your sinker. Okay. And from there, you have your 4-foot section of monofilament to your 2-hook rig. And that's exactly how the rig would look. And you can see that. So if I could put the whole thing on the mat for you to see. 3-way, sinker, and then 4 feet down to your double hook rig. All right? That's basically how it's going to look rigged with a 3-way. Now, there's another way to do this rig too. If you don't want this, this much jewelry on it, this can get snagged in the bottom. So sometimes people make it a little simple like me. I would not use a 3-way. I go with a swivel, and I'll show you how to do that with a swivel. So basically, you're going to take, again, either your main line, your leader coming off your braid, you would use, and you could get the swivel into that, or for this, I'm just going to show you real quick how I would do it. So let's just say this line right here is the line from my fishing rod. Okay, this is my leader. I usually do like 15 foot of top shot on top of my braid on my rods when we're fishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the swivel onto the line. So it's like that. Okay, you can see the swivels in there. I'm going to go up. See, with these bigger baits, you could actually give yourself some room with the sinkers to get it off the bottom, because the bigger fluke will come off that bottom to attack the baits. So if it's fluttering, a foot off the bottom, 2 foot off the bottom, that's perfectly fine. They will slam it. So I'm going to go, let's 10 inches around there, 10, 12 inches off of that, okay? Now what you want to do is you're just going to do a drop loop. You make sure the swivel's in the middle, like that. Pop it around, and you start wrapping these 2 lines together. I have videos of this so you can see how to do it. I'm just doing it real fast to show you. So you get your 6 wraps in there. You're going to take that swivel. You're going to put it through the hole in the middle after you separate the 2, okay? You're going to hold that with your teeth. I'm doing this off camera. Pull it tight, moisten, and then snug it down, okay? So now you have your swivel there. You can see that. And then from there, you can just do any loop you want down here for your sinker, okay? This is a thumbnail knot, also the perfection loop it's called. I just go over the thumbnail, under the thumbnail, pinch it, okay, and then run the piece that's over your thumbnail, run it through, keep holding tension on it, slide it to the desired loop you want, okay, and that's where your weight's going to go. So now you can see how that's going to look. So that's where your sinker is, that's where your swivel is going to be on the line, okay, and then the fishing rod, the line goes to your fishing rod. This is your top shot, so that's basically what you have, and then from there, we then take this rig and tie it onto that. I mean, there's the 3 on this. Let's pretend that 3-way is not there. So your rig now would be tied to that, and then it'll be from there. Okay, and just, I don't want to confuse anybody, so let's just cut this 3-way off real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now the 3-way is gone, less jewelry. Here's our rig again, and we're just going to tie it straight to the swivel now, just so you guys can have a better understanding of the rig. So pop it through. Again, this is just I'm not a professional, I'm sorry. This is just another clinch knot that I'm tying. Just do a couple times just so you could see. I'm not going to go crazy with this. Pop it through. Again, you would take it off, moisten it, pop it down tight. I didn't do any of that because this is just a demonstration like I've said 1,000 times. Cut it. Okay. So now, so you can see what I'm talking about. Sinker right there where my pointer finger is. There's your swivel, the line going up to the fishing rod, and now from your swivel, you connect your 4-footer leader to your rig. And as you can see, I'll pull it through, and there's your rig. Okay, that's another way to do it. This is the way I do it. So just to give you a quick rundown on my rods, I use spinning rods a lot, and I'll have 30-pound or 20-pound braid in the spinning rods. From there, I'll connect a 15-foot of either 30 or 40-pound leader, connect that with an Albright knot, and in that leader, I'll put one of these swivels in, like you saw. This would be my leader, and then go from there. I like to do everything direct tie. I really don't like putting swivels between the braid and the main line. What happens a lot, especially with clients on the boat, they'll reel that swivel through the tip, and you'll start cracking guides. Once a guide is cracked, you'll start seeing your braid gets cut out of nowhere. Check your guide. You got a cracked guide. That happens a lot, especially when you're reeling these metal swivels through the guides. It's a common problem that we have, and it will crack guides. So that's why everything I do is just basically direct tie, all Albright knots. You can do FG knot, whatever knot you choose. There really is no right or wrong knot. It's whatever you feel comfortable. You want to know what the right knot is? The right knot is the one that you can tie the best, and the one that's going to hold. If they'll say the FG is the right knot, if you can't tie an FG knot right, it's not the right knot. Plain and simple. You need to be able to tie that knot with your eyes closed, Whether it's you're in 4-foot seas, flat, calms, oceans, you got to do a knot that you're comfortable with. That will always be the right knot, and I will stress that to you. It doesn't matter any other way. You would tie the knot that's going to be comfortable for you, that you know is not going to slip. All right? And that's how basically this rig would look. Sinker, swivel, and T-line. Again, this was a drop loop I put in here by inserting the swivel first. Again, all these videos I have on my library. If you go to my how-to library, you could see all these knots I've done already. This is just a quick rig because the main purpose of this was to show you how to do the 2-hook fluke rig for bait. All right. And that's basically it. If I could just untangle this real fast. That's basically it. And you can see the rig one more time. Excellent rig. Like I said, large strip baits, whole squids, big Peruvian spear and smelts, all that good stuff. All right, well, that was the rig. So, guys, I really appreciate you watching the video till the end. Thank you so much. Any suggestions you might have, any rigs that you would like to learn, let me know. Leave them in the comments, and we'll see what we could do to try to get a video up for you to do another how-to video. It gives me some ideas for content, which would be great as well. But once again, I really appreciate everybody watching my videos. Thank you all so much. Hopefully this winter will end soon, and we'll be out there fishing, getting some fishing videos up as well. Once again, any comments you have, any suggestions, always you can leave in the comment section here, and I try to answer within 24 hours of seeing the comments. Again, thank you so much, and I'll catch you all on the next one.